70s, what do you have for 70s?
Let's see. So this one is maybe a controversial pick, only from the respect of like his career WAR, not great, but I think he was one of the best hitters in the 80s, personally. And I know that you have a bias toward him.
Heavily biased. I had many discussions about it. I thought he was the best all-around player.
Yeah, so we're talking about Andre Dawson, known as the Hawk, and so here's his 1977 rookie card. And so, yeah, I mean, again, his counting stats may have suffered a little bit, like a 279 career batting average, not great, but he had an MVP, was rookie of the year, like over 400 home runs, over 1,200, over 1,300 RBIs and runs, both. 8-time Gold Glove, winner.
Yeah, very good fielder.
Never got, he went to the World Series, I believe, in '84 with the playoffs with the Cubs in '84. He didn't get to the World Series.
And he made it with the Expos in '81. They made it to the playoffs.
Right,
They lost.
right.
That was
so he never got
short season.
Right, so he never got to the World Series, which is one thing against him, unfortunately. But again, and he was also the Home Run Derby champion, which I did not realize.
What?
Yeah. I had no idea.
They had a home run derby back then?
I guess in the late 80s, maybe?
Wow,
I had no idea.
That is great trivia.
Yeah, multiple times Silver Slugger. But again, fast. I mean, he had over 300 steals. He had like that violent swing that was just amazing. I loved it. Just a really memorable player, I think, from the 80s, from our childhoods, I think.
Yes.
So.
And a feared player.
Yeah.
Like, because he had that swing and he could hit a home run. He could throw you out from center field. I remember watching many Expos games where runners would be thinking about taking an extra base, but he had great throwing arm.
He had a gun for his
arm. And he could steal bases too. I mean, I remember many games where he got a steal right before Gary Carter would get a single to get a run. Back in those days, there was a lot of 1-0, 2-1, 3-2 games where a steal was really, really big. You made me think that there's a particular collection that might be fun to do, which is collect everybody who has been a rookie of the year and then an MVP. Like, I would imagine there's quite a few of them, but I don't know how many.
That's a good question. It's a fair amount. Was it Lynn that won both the same year?
He won it the same year. Yeah, I think so.
But yeah, there's definitely are a few of those guys, I think. Not a lot, but a few. So pricing wise, I looked up his collector grade 7 is only like the most recent $30. I mean,
wow.
Somehow someone got an 8 of his for $10. I don't know what happened there, but
auction that was
something that just midnight or something. But yeah, just really, really undervalued, I think. I mean, it's the 10s and the 9s that are really expensive, the 10 especially, obviously, but otherwise you can get it for really pretty cheap. So.
Yeah, that's a great selection. My selection for 70s baseball, I actually have two. First one, again, it tells the hat, is Eddie Murray.
Right.
The 78 Topps Eddie Murray. And maybe the production runs were getting heavier then, but Eddie Murray's 3,000 hit club. He was an 8-time All-Star, World Series champ, another Rookie of the Year, 77.
Never MVP.
Never MVP.
Yeah.
3-time Gold Glove winner, 81 home run champ. But he's in this select club of the 3,000 hits, 500 home runs.
Right.
And there's only been 7 who've done it. And when he did it, there were only 2. There was Hank Aaron and Mays. So think about there was a long period where there were just 2, and that accomplishment was incredible. So Eddie Murray was the next one. Since that time, there's been Palmeiro, Pujols, A-Rod, and Miggy.
Right.
So, but those, I think,
a couple of those are tainted, and a couple
of them
are legit.
That's right. So. Yeah, Palmeiro's probably tainted.
Yeah.
But yeah. So to me, Eddie Murray is a bargain. So here's a few comps that I saw. PSA 5, $17. There was a PSA 6, $17. You go up to 7, which is more the collector grade, is $65. But I bet you could get it for about 50, you know, like, so
Yeah.
that's my selection.
I remember when I was a kid, that was like one of the cards like I would love to get. Like I couldn't afford it at that point or something, or never really, but I'm like, I really want that card.
Right. I think I got mine in a pack because I was ripping a lot of packs then, and I think I had that Eddie Murray. Yeah.
Yeah, this is the year before I started, so that
okay.
was why I never got. I never had packs.
And then I love it also because it's got a rookie cup. I like
Yeah.
the rookie cup card. So
Exactly.
yeah, so that's my selection. I do have a second one, which is the Molitor Trammel.
Yeah.
And I'm doing this mostly because I think it's funny. I think that this rookie card has the most hits if you combined.
It would not
players.
surprise me.
Yeah.
Especially because UO Washington was not a bad player
No.
either. So
Maybe 1,000 hits.
yeah, and Nicky Klutz stuck around for a little bit.
Mickey Klutz, maybe, you know, he might have contributed 100 hits or something like that. But
Yeah.
between Molitor and Trammel, you get 5,684 hits.
Wow.
So those guys combined are more than Pete Rose.
Yeah.
And just in terms of comps, PSA 7, there was one sold for $44. PSA 6, $25, $22. SGC 6, $20. So this is a $20 card.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
With 2 Hall of Famers on it. I
Right.
mean, that's ridiculous.
And do we know the combo, the 4 cards, is this the only one that has 2 Hall of Famers? I think it is.
I'm pretty sure. As far as rookies go, yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's the only one.
I used to think that the one that had Dale Murphy and Lance Parrish, they
Right,
were
was going to
make
be,
it.
yeah.
I thought for sure Murphy would make the Hall of Fame. Still think he does belong there, but neither of those guys are in
I believe there was an Ichiro Pujols card.
yes.
But neither of them have made it yet. So
Right, and that's just a 2-player card,
Right.
not a 4-player card.
Right.
It's yeah. So those are my baseball selections. I mean, basketball. I picked George Gervin.
nice. Nice man.
I love this action photo. I think he's underappreciated. I think he came, before the Magic era, so that era is a little bit underappreciated. But he's a 9-time All-Star, was an All-Star MVP in the 1980 game, 4-time scoring champ,
Yeah.
5-time NBA first team, ABA all-time team, which I'm not sure who's on the ABA all-time team, but I think they probably picked 5.
Dr. J, I imagine,
sure,
had to
Dr.
be on
J.
there.
Maybe Dan Issel,
Issel, yeah. I can't think of others, but yeah.
Artis Gilmore,
Maybe. Yeah.
George McGinnis. Those are my guesses. But another crazy thing about him, I just learned this, he actually played with Dr. J one season on
Really?
the same team.
Interesting.
And the reason is,
In the ABA, I assume.
I looked on the back, and what does it say? It says his rookie year, he played on Virginia Squires.
Ah, the Squires.
And
yeah.
I was like, that would have been Dr.
That's
J.
Dr. J, yeah.
So
Fascinating.
just interesting. And just one comp here, PSA 5 sold for $26. So you can get a fairly high grade, mid grade George Gervin rookie card, $25.
I feel like there was a relatively, I don't know if it was a well-known poster, but there was a poster called The Iceman Cometh
Yes.
with him on it.
Yes, that's a famous one.
Yeah.
That's a famous one.
Yeah.
If any of you go to Eugene, Oregon, which I just went to, there is a hotel called The Graduate.
Oh, right, you mentioned this.
And it has all these posters, and maybe we'll send a picture.
Yeah.
All these old Nike posters, and that's one of the prominent ones
Right.
sitting there. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I do have football selections. I'll pull one that I like. If I can find it here. And that's Alan Page. So
All the
Alan,
purple people are just
yes,
eaters.
yes. So I guess I'm picking Vikings and Orioles today.
Right.
And that, maybe that has something to do with their values not being as high. If they're multiple championships won,
Right.
maybe people would appreciate it more.
Yeah.
But Alan Page won the MVP in 1971.
Which is, let's just take a moment to set aside the
Yes.
fact that a defensive
Yes.
player won the MVP.
Because I think that's only been done twice.
I think, was it him and LT?
Yes.
Is that right? Yeah.
LT won as well.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, has there been a recent one? And I doubt
No.
it.
No.
Yeah.
They have to have a dominant season to
Yes.
do that. Like someone has to have 25 sacks or something, or 10 interceptions
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
For sure, I think it would be really difficult to even pop in the top 5 as a defensive player these days. Yeah. But Alan Page, to me, he did make it to 4 Super Bowls, 9-time Pro Bowl. He's a Minnesota Supreme Court judge.
Right, that's right.
Like, his post-playing career is even more impressive. Yeah. But PSA 6, $35. PSA 5, the last 3 are $12, $18, and $19. So you can get a PSA 5 Alan Page rookie card for under $20. Again, instead of, I don't know who you speculate to buy now.
Aiden Hutchinson.
Yeah, Cade Cunningham or something like that. Instead of buying a green Cade Cunningham rookie, buy an Alan Page. Yeah. Okay. You want to move to the 80s?
Sure.
Okay,
so the 80s.
Yeah, 80s. What do you have for 80s?
So again, I'm doing this. I didn't do this just because of you, but it just happened to be the one that came up. So this is.
I love it.
Tim Raines.
Wow.
Who, again, I think that he is. I think the main reason I picked him is because, again, I just think he was just a great player, but he was so overshadowed by Ricky Henderson, like his whole career, it felt like. And like he was basically Ricky Henderson, like not 2.0, but like just a tier below him in most of what he was doing. Like he had 808 steals, which is like 3rd or 4th ever, highest ever, I feel like.
It's definitely top 5.
Unless I know that they've now started to incorporate Negro Leagues numbers in, so it may have changed. I don't know offhand, but I mean Brock had 938. I think
Vince Coleman maybe.
I think Cobb had 892. I think.
Ooh, wow.
And then obviously Henderson had like 1,300 and something, whatever. Coleman, might be right around there. I'm not exactly sure. But anyways, top 5. Again, there's also I think I want to say the guy Billy Hamilton from the 1800s.
Oh, not that Billy Hamilton.
Not the one.
Not the Reds.
Who also was very good at stealing.
Yeah, that's right.
But I feel like there was another Billy Hamilton. I think it was him that had also a lot of steals back then. I could be wrong with that. Anyway, but again, he had 2,600 hits, 170 home runs. Pretty good, for a leadoff hitter.
And because I'm an Expos fan, I'll say this. When Carter and Dawson left, Raines became the number 3 hitter.
Interesting.
I remember thinking, what are they doing putting him in third? And he ratcheted up his power, and he started batting, had higher RBIs, was never toward the top.
I was going to say, he had 980 RBIs.
Yeah.
Which is amazing for a mostly leadoff hitter.
Right.
And obviously, like, the runs, 1,570 runs. And so 7-time All-Star, 2-time, I didn't realize this, 2-time World Series, I guess with the Yankees.
Yeah, which the Yankees.
Yeah. Won an All-Star MVP, won a batting title, and a Silver Slugger. And so I think his career was overshadowed by Henderson most of the time. And so, because they were similar players in that respect. Obviously, Henderson had more power than Raines.
I used to get into arguments with my friends about Raines being better, because Raines always had a better batting average. Tim Raines, I think he might have even won a batting title.
He did. I think he did.
So he would be in the 300 or 280, 300, even above that. I think one year maybe 320, 330, and Ricky was always a little bit lower.
Yeah.
So I was always like, I'd rather have Raines because he gets on base more.
I mean, Henderson got 3,000 hits because he stuck around. He played like 26 years or something crazy like that.
Incredible amount.
Raines had a 294 batting average. So anyways, his card, which admittedly is in the 80s, not technically vintage, whatever, but an 8 for PSA 8 most recently sold for $42, which is actually a little higher than I thought it was. Honestly, like I thought it was even cheaper than that. But again, a 9 was $46. It's just the 10 that's like $1,000.
He does have a traded or late
81
issue
traded
card, which I think might be valued more.
Yeah, you're right. It is actually.
Yeah, and it's a little. That's when Fleer and Don Ron. It's a little bit I mean, I have all the Reigns cards, but there's so many of them. It starts to get complicated.
Right, a little diluted, yeah.
So, I mean, that's one of the beauties of vintage to me. It's like there's usually one rookie card, right? There's not 3, 5, 6, 30 now.
Right, right.
Yeah, that's obviously I love that selection. I mean, what a luxury those Yankees teams to look down at the end of the bench, and go, who's going to pinch hit here? Okay, let's put Reigns up there.
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
They had Darryl Strawberry at one point, I feel
Yeah.
like, too. And like, yeah, that's when everyone started to hate the Yankees more because like they just had all the money, they're throwing money in it.
Yeah,
So.
and did they win 4 straight World Series?
No, I don't
3
think
maybe?
so. I think it was...
Or 4 and 5 years?
Yeah,
or
I think it was
something?
4 and 5 years, probably, something like that.
I kind of blanked out during that time and just didn't pay attention.
Right.
Yeah.
Jeter, Posada, that whole, team.
Yeah.
Pettit, etc.
So I have a couple 80s selection. I did not pick baseball because I feel like it was super overpopulated at that time.
Yeah. No, agreed.
But 82, Lawrence Taylor. Again,
Greatest defensive player
Yeah.
possibly ever.
Yes.
Probably linebacker ever, I think.
I mean, I went to do my research on him, and that moniker was, a lot of people think he's the greatest player all time. And you know, PSA 7, $50, PSA 6, $40, SGC 7, 44, one for $18. Like, I think, I don't know what the print runs were for 80s, early 80s tops, but that's a bargain to me.
Yeah.
And then this one I like, Reggie White, 1984 Topps USFL card.
Yeah.
Also, you know, some consider him the greatest defensive lineman.
Yeah.
He's number 2 sacks all time, 198. You know, 1 Super Bowl, 2-time Defensive Player of the Year, 13-time Pro Bowl winner. I think he's like a top 5 defensive player.
And I personally think he had one of the best nicknames, the Minister of Defense.
Right. That feels like it was probably on a poster, a Nike poster somewhere. And I also like this card because I'm going to guess that they didn't make as many USFL sets.
I don't know. Like when I was a kid, I don't remember seeing that many of them.
Yeah.
But again, I was in Hawaii, and who knows if they didn't get there or not. It's possible. So
I do have one final one. I know like this is running long, but I have a basketball selection. I hardly picked this for you too.
I appreciate that.
But it's Isaiah Thomas,
Yes.
the 86-87. I'm still stunned that you can get his card for what you can get it for. It's like PSA 7, $35. BGS 8, $36. He's a 2-time champion, NBA Finals MVP in 90, 12-time All-Star, also an NCAA champion.
Left off of the Dream Team because of Michael Jordan. Right. Looking at you, Michael. I know you did that.
Right. Although, don't they blame it on a myriad of people now? Like it was Magic at some point. And
Colangelo was involved.
And then Pippen somehow, and it was like, why would they listen to Pippen? Anyway, so...
I'm kidding, Michael. I love you. That's fine.
Yeah. So I think this is a bargain. I think this is a bargain in the Flair set. Like the Dominique goes for more, the Olajuwon goes for more. Obviously, Jordan goes for more.
I don't have any of these. I should. I don't have Isaiah. I've never gotten around to getting his rookie. But
I do think there are a lot of them. But the fact that you can get a little bit of a higher grade for somebody like Thomas, who I think is probably the greatest small man basketball player in the NBA history. I can't think of who I'd put in front of him. Can you think of something?
I mean, like, Kuzi was probably shorter, maybe?
Yeah.
But, I mean, obviously from a championship perspective, he's got Thomas, beat. But
I can't imagine Kuzi staying in front of Isaiah in one-on-one. in a one-on-one matchup. I mean, maybe John Stockton, you could say.
Chris Paul.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's a good one. People would say Curry, but I don't think Curry of him as being that small. He's 6'3".
Yeah.
And his style of play is more a shooting guard than a point guard.
It's funny. Like I was just looking at Andre Dawson. He's also 6'3", but I imagine Andre Dawson being much taller than Steph Curry.
Right.
It's just all relative to like what he was.
Right, and he had that chiseled frame.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah. Anyways, that's our take on the gems, the vintage gems. Tell us what you're collecting, and we'd love to compare notes.
Yeah, I mean, we're again, basically what we're saying here is vintage. You can enter into it. There's a way to do it, and so we just love people that do it. So Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.